And we are live. This is Travis Witherspoon from Carter Cow Capital, helping you fight for your financial freedom throughout the forex market. This is another night episode and the final episode of this week of Trade with Travis. Hope everybody's doing very well on this um, Thursday evening as we go through and take a look at what's happening with the market, take a look at forex, take a look at stocks, take a look at cryptocurrency, take a look at indexes, or anything else like that that end up making us money based off of the correct setup. So interested in learning a little bit more about that? Nas 100, US 30, DAX, XPX 500, anything else like that? Obviously, this is the place to be able to be as we go through and get everything else done. For the people that are first time watchers and long term watchers and everything else like that, I do appreciate each and every one of y'all being here to pop in. The only thing that I end up asking, if I provide value for you, please make sure that you end up clicking on that boost button as we're trying to keep on pushing up the numbers and keep on raising awareness to what we end up doing as a group, as a community, and everything goes. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and go through the disclaimer. And then after that, we'll go ahead and jump right into it. I'm not a CTA, so I'm not going to tell you whether to buy or to sell. What I'm going to do is teach you education. And from that education, you can be able to make your own informed decision. Now, understand that trading involves risk, involves risk of being able to make money, also involves risk of being able to lose money. So please keep that in mind. And understand that past performance is not indicative of future results, which means that if you end up making money yesterday, it's not promised that you can end up making money today. So with that being said, I'm going to show myself onto the screen as we go ahead and get started and get everything else done. Hope everybody's doing very well. Um, Today was a pretty good day. Today was actually a very good day when it came down to trading. Pretty much every idea that we end up talking about, for the most part, end up working out the way that I thought it was going to end up working out. Aside from Ethereum, end up catching Ethereum, had to move, stopped paying attention to it. Inflation numbers came out, and it quickly went from a winning position to a losing position very quickly. So that's the only one that I'm kind of like, man, I wish I would have kind of paid attention to a little bit more as we're going through and being able to make decisions about what was happening through all of those pairs. But other than that, everything else ended up turning out well for us being able to get that done. So I'm going to type in the chat. Do me a favor, type in if you end up having a green day or a red day. And I also want to make sure that everything is actually working so I can be able to see y'all actually placing in messages because right now, like what we ended up showing earlier this morning, I wasn't able to see everyone placing in messages. So just want to know if it is actually working overall. So um, sit up there and put everything else good to go. So if you're here, type in here or type in whatever type of day that you end up having. Then after that, let's jump right into it and see what we have overall. If I have to refresh my screen or something like that, or if you end up, okay, for the main people that end up messaging me a lot, send me a direct message. And I just want to see if I'm getting a direct message or if something's going wrong with the chat. And if I need to refresh like I did early in the morning. Okay. All right. So what do we have earlier today? We end up having CPI data, and then after that, we end up having inflation numbers. And for some reason, my inflation numbers never show up. I think probably because I don't have on FX Street the information that I typically do have. Let's see. Uh, let's see. It was core CPI. Core CPI actually ended up being good. We ended up having zero point 0.6 when it came down to those numbers. Unemployment claims actually ended up being good. Um, Evidently, it must have been a meeting about inflation and everything else that went along with that. And we couldn't see how well or how poorly the market actually ended up going from there. But uh, overall, like I said, it was a pretty good day when it came down to that movement. Um, let's go ahead and jump into the big three. Let's talk about what ended up happening with that. We actually ended up taking a buy off of Euro United States dollar. Ended up taking a buy off of GJ. Came from Fatty. Fatty always loves GJ, so we ended up taking a trade off of that one as well. And overall, that was pretty much about it when it came down to most of the forex pairs. So United States dollar index. Let's go ahead and get into it. So our thought process was very simple. I ended up feeling like the United States dollar index was going to end up falling. Thought it was prime for being able to fall. Talked about this bullish crown that we was expecting to be able to see happen. We've seen it very early during that 6:30 time. So if you would have paid attention with us during that 6:30 time, then you really would have caught it when it came down to movements. But overall, what happened was that there was a evening star that was somewhat created a couple weeks ago, got retested. The market tried to push up towards these highs and got rejected again. Take a look at that from a daily perspective. You can see that evening star candlestick as soon as we end up getting up towards the top, right around that 13,490 area where we end up calling it out a little bit earlier last week. Market ended up falling down. I ended up saying that there was two positions where I look at being able to take profit at 13,422 and then after that 13,359. Market has fell down and hit 13,422. So you end up staying in on that move right when the news actually ended up coming out. Congratulations when it came down to that. Currently, right now, we end up having that big push of consolidation. Then the market actually end up falling off. What I do expect going into tomorrow is that the market may be stagnant for at least the first portion of the day. And we may end up seeing that Sunday to Monday trade where the market may end up giving us a little bit of a push up to the upside. And then after that, ultimately being able to fall. So that will be our breakout. We have a retest that's going to end up happening at some point in time. I believe that the retest will probably end up being somewhere around here. Just looking at past resistance turning into future support. So I'm going to have that as blue. If the market ends up pushing up towards that 13,460 area, then we probably might end up having a good chance of seeing this market kind of fall down from there overall to the downside. Once again, I am not seeing anybody force messages. So, okay, there we go. As soon as I end up refreshing on a different screen, I can be able to see y'all messages. Let's see. There we go. Steve, what's going on? I had to make another screen just to be able to see the messages. So, there we go. Brian, what's going on? Roger, hope everything's going well. Block, what's going on? Now, I'm not. I'm not able to see the messages. So I'm going to have one screen to where I can be able to see myself, and I just refresh another screen to where I can be able to see the chat, but I couldn't see the chat at all. But good to see that everybody ended up having a pretty good day. There we go. There we go. Good to hear. Good to hear. Yeah, that's aggravating. How about this? It would be way better because most of y'all are in the Discord. That y'all send these messages through the Discord. And it'll make it way easier on me to be able to see what y'all are actually writing because everybody will be in one uniform area. So I'm going to do this real quick. Just give me one quick second so I can make sure that everyone can be seen at that same time so I don't have to sit up there and try to guess on what's happening. Let's see. Here is everybody here is the free link to be able to pop into it. Go ahead and jump right into that. What I'm going to end up doing is that do it under general. Go under general, and then after that, you should be able to see. I'm going to end up typing in a message. I'm going to say, everyone, hello. And from there, type in your messages and everything else like that. It'll make it way easier for me to be able to see it because it'll happen rapidly. Okay, so we're going to take a little bit of time. Everybody start messaging in on that spot, especially if you're already a part of the free Discord. Just type in, hey, so I can be able to see everybody. So when I start going through this, I can be able to know that I can be able to see your message faster. Okay. But I'm going to keep on talking about what's happening with the United States dollar index. So I do expect for the market to be able to pop up to the upside. It's in the buy zone. So that means that we're probably looking at a day and a half worth of movement to the upside. And then after that, once it gets up to that 13,465 area, we should see that the market could have a drop from there. So a little bit of a pop up. Then after that, we end up seeing a drop once it breaks past that 13,422 area. Then after that, we should see a free fall down to that 13,359 area. Once that happens, then after that, we'll have a little bit of a push that we can be able to work off of and kind of go from there. Brian, I see you. Brian, I see you on here. Just type in a message. Make sure that I can be able to place you in. Go ahead and give you a quick roll real quick. There we go. So Brian, once you're in the farm, just go to general. Once you go to general, then type in a message real quick so I can be able to see it. see, Steve, there you go. I see you. Just go to the general portion of the farm, and then after that, just type in a message, and I can be able to see. There you go. What's going on, Rich? Always good talking to you. What's going on, Steve? Brian, I got you locked in. There we go. Okay, good to go. Good to go. Everybody else that is trying to send messages and everything else like that, like I said, for some reason I'm not able to see everybody's messages. So if you go into the Discord, I can be able to see it right when you end up placing in a message. So we end up going from there. Try to speed this up a little bit. Okay. So United States dollar index, we end up going through that. Let's talk about what happened with oil. And also, while y'all there, talk about what pairs y'all want to be able to talk about, what potential pairs y'all would like to be able to talk about overall. U.S. oil, what ended up happening was they were waiting for a counter trend line break to be able to break, and that's exactly what ended up happening. Did not get into the pair, just being very honest when it comes down to that. I truly felt like the market had a little bit more movement to the downside that we could be able to get into, but we had a breakout. I mean, we had a breakout. Currently, right now, um, we end up having a little bit of a retest. The market ended up finally breaking above this overall counter trend line break, so we have to treat that seriously as the market ended up making this initial movement to the upside. So oil pushed up. Now we should see it kind of fall off a little bit before being able to ultimately push up again. If you don't catch it before 89.63, don't necessarily be mad about it, but you better be on the train before it gets up to 89.63, or you're going to miss that big push up to 94, 94.59. So as this market is going down, take a look at it from an hourly perspective. Take a look at that counter trend line break that possibly could happen. And once there's another counter trend line break to be able to happen, then after that, look at being able to make the move to the upside. Once you get that, then you have an opportunity of being able to ride out oil to the upside. Remember, it's the cold months because we are getting into the cold months. We should see that oil should rise in price as the market is actually moving forward from there. The other area that I would look at for being able to place a stop loss now will end up being below the swing low. So you get in right around that 88.52 area, then my stop loss will be right below 85.20, and then after that, look at being able to go after obviously that 94.59 area for us being able to get out. Remember, short term move, long term move. So if you're looking at this and you're going with 1%, I probably go with I'll probably go with a 0.5% for its 94.59, and then after that, 4% for its that long term move to the upside. If you can be able to get it. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Let's go ahead and move on to gold. I'm 60-40 on this being a breakout or a fake out. You talking about oil? I can see that happening. The reason why I see that happening is because that oil is not in the buy zone for it being able to make a move yet. Now, this was a big fake out, and if I would have placed in the trade and not paid attention to it, then I probably would have been upset. Um, so gold, we ended up talking about this earlier. We are talking about being able to take in a trade at 1660 when it came down to that movement to the downside. What ended up happening from here was that gold ended up falling down all the way down to the 1641 area, popped right back up, and then after that, currently right now the market is actually pushing to the downside. So I'm torn on this one at this particular point. Is this a ABCD move that we're looking at? And we're below that 1660 number, we should look at being able to jump in, trying to go down to 1615, or is this just a minor retracement towards a upside move that should happen and then after that, see gold start to be able to push up? Because I don't necessarily know that answer. And if we look at it, the daily is getting closer to the buy zone. Because I don't know that answer, I think I'm going to end up passing up on gold. I think I'm going to probably pass up on gold. Um, yeah, I think I might pass up on gold. Obviously, you can do what you want with it, but just by taking a look at it and everything else like that, I think that we might see that this market may start to push right back up. Uh, I do like the breakout. Obviously, the breakout was a big move. Uh, I don't think I know I didn't place that trade in. It was 195 or 193 points. Fell about 18 points to the downside. But probably won't make a move off of that one. Just being honest. So stay away from that one. Let's talk about GJ real quick, just to be able to go over trades that we're taking. Um, Trades that were taken during the live stream early this morning as a review. Uh, First one was the 163 area. We was looking at being able to get in for that breakout. Stop loss was below the low. We was talking about um, being able to get out at 168.18. I know Fatty ended up taking that position towards the upside. I personally told him that I was not looking at that, but I would pay attention to the overall move and see what happened. Um, what ended up happening from there was went above 163. Then after that, I said that it will probably end up really starting to push towards that 168 number. Currently, right now, it's getting very close to that 166.59. I don't like that. Personally, I don't like that there is a flag that's actually being created at this particular point. If I am trading this right now inside of this consolidation, me personally, I would just rather see this thing actually move. Typically, when you end up seeing a flag, you end up seeing that the market will end up pushing up. It'll be based off of the long-term direction. Whatever the long-term direction was, the market will actually end up kind of giving a better odds for us being able to push that up. So currently, right now, we have seen the market moving up. There we go. We'll probably see that the market will push up, complete that position, and then from there, whatever happens is whatever happens. For the people that end up getting into GJ, congratulations when it came down to that movement. Once again, I was personally not one of those, but I know some people inside of the community actually end up doing that. Very big move. Very big move overall for everyone. They end up doing that. Talking about 320 something points. That's not nothing to be shabby at. Not nothing to slouch at. All right. Good move off of that one. Everyone. They end up taking that one. Let's get into the pairs matter of fact, we'll talk about Ethereum while I'm looking at this. And I want to see why Ethereum made this move that it did. So we talked about Ethereum being able to take a short based off of that movement right before the news actually ended up coming out. I ended up taking it based off of this triangle as well. Market ended up breaking to the downside on that flag. When I noticed it, I ended up seeing that it got all the way down here, and then after that, after the CPI data came back up, it pushed right back inside of that consolidation. That means to me that ultimately people are finding value in being able to get in, and from that value, they're looking at being able to see the market start to push up. So if the market's going to end up falling, it's probably going to have to go up to the upside first, probably get up to that 1360 area, and if there's bad news, then after that, you may see it fall. I don't think that we end up seeing a halfways movement. Then after that falling, I just believe that currently right now, there's really nothing to be able to do for being able to make a move off of this one. So I'm just going to stay away. But I think I was up 25 points between both of them, and just didn't get out in time. Or being a little bit more patient, I was too happy about what ended up happening off of the pairs that I ended up getting into, unfortunately. Okay. Do you want me to download the Alpha Discord? Okay. Perfect. All right. Steve, you can watch in here. You don't have to download anything. I still want you to watch during the live stream, but if you have any questions, just send me a message. For everything else that's in there. Hopefully that helps out. All right. So let's talk about the two trades that primarily I was paying attention to in general. We're going to go to what happened with NAS. We're going to go to what happened with US 30. I will start off with NAS 100. NAS 100 was, in my mind, the better play when it came down to that movement. So ultimately, and I think I said this right when it happened, we seen the market last night when the market was inside of this triangle. We ended up taking a trade when the market ended up breaking the triangle to the downside. And my thought process was that I still felt like we could be able to get it all the way down to 10,400. When the market ended up breaking earlier this morning, I ended up seeing that it struggled to be able to break away from this overall area right around that 10,740 area. So I ended up saying, hey, I'm going to take profit in the morning. Once the market really started to push back up, I felt very good about that confirmation. But I did say during our live stream in the morning that we're very close to this market kind of breaking out, and I wanted to see how the market was going to end up reacting. Now, keep in mind, when it comes down to high impact news, especially when the market is really kind of showing what it was showing earlier and knowing that there was going to end up being a big pop, typically the first move is a fake out. And that fake out ended up pushing us into this position that I ended up talking about if you were going to end up being aggressive. Um, so that order was at 10,920, and then after that, the market actually ended up falling down from there. Now, personally, I did not place in the pending buy order. I placed in the pending sell order, and I felt good about the pending sell order because ultimately I thought that the market was going to move in that direction. So what ended up happening was that the market ended up pushing towards resistance. You end up doing strategy 4. You would have caught it at 10,910. I did not do strategy 4, but I did have the order down at 10,750 to the downside, going out to that 10,400 area. Within the first 5 minutes, market ended up shooting all the way down to the downside. Uh, for for some reason on the slippage, I ended up getting placed in at 10,672. Um, go figure. No, I'm sorry. I think it was 10,680 that I ended up getting placed in based off of slippage. But I had my order at 10,750. And right when the market ended up slipping down, it ended up placing me in that order. Market ended up falling all the way down to, I think I ended up getting out at 10,450. I mean, 10,490 for us being able to get out. Market tried to push and tried to break below that 10,400 number, but uh, all y'all know that I have trap profit points on my system to where if it does break in that position, I can be able to get out 70% before the market kind of starts being able to move away. Once I seen it struggle, I sent the message out to everybody to be able to get out and be able to go from there. So I ended up catching that first move. My day was pretty much over with from there. Now, I did notice that the market ended up pushing up to the upside, but I really didn't pay attention for it being able to get in. I just thought that what was going to happen was you was going to end up having a retest, and then after that, pushing order to the downside. Are you placing market orders, condition orders, or limit orders? I am placing pending orders. I'm placing pending buy stops and pending sell stops, especially where I know where I want to pick my spot at. Rich, I don't waste any time on market orders anymore. Um, to me, especially when we know when we're picking our spot, there's no reason to get into a market order. I'd rather place in the order, know that if I get placed in, I'm going to get placed in right when the market's going to drop, and then after that, kind of go from there. Now, if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. Um, if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. Steve said I got the chat room all to myself in here. Nice. But then after that, market ended up pushing back up. Did not place the trade up to the upside, but if you did, it gave you two different times to be able to make money off of it. The first time it pushed up, fell down, probably would have got stopped out. Pushed up again back in that same area at 920, got all the way up about 80% away from the take profit level. If you end up doing that, then you had a chance of being able to make the money from there. But that was the order on Nas 100. Nas 100 was Nas 100. I think he ended up making about $700 based off of that movement, um, based off of that initial drop to the downside. And that was in 5 minutes. So I was like, okay, I'm cool with today. Um, but the one that I'm very happy about, the one that we ended up placing inside of the winner circle for us, this overall movement, was what ended up happening with Dow Jones. Now, Dow Jones ended up winning in both directions, and quite frankly, everybody should have been happy about what ended up happening with Dow Jones off of this movement. We end up talking about how we end up seeing this very tight consolidation. We had consolidation within another consolidation. I went and said, hey, I just want to be aggressive off of this movement and not be conservative based off of it. But both orders end up getting triggered in. And based off of both orders, my take profit was right around 28, 613. Uh, what ended up happening from there was first initial drop, market ended up pushing up. Market ended up pushing up first. Same deal, placed me in for the buy right around that 820 to 825 area. got out of that trade, made quick profit off of that movement. The market flushed to the downside very quickly, placed us inside of that order at 29,190 and at 29,50. Both of them fell down within 5 minutes to be able to get 80% of the way of that profit that was looking at being able to get out, which was at 29,620 or 29,630. I mean 28,630. Sorry, and ended up being a 5K move in 5 minutes. And then after that, market ended up pushing back up. Once the market ended up pushing back up, got placed inside of another buy, got stopped out, got placed inside of another buy again, and then after that, completed the move at 29,860. So very good day overall. The moves up top, I definitely lowered my risk percentage because I wanted to protect that overall trade that I ended up having. But overall, really had a very good day when it came down to that movement based off of that. Anybody else end up having a big movement based off of that, based off of US 30? I hope everybody did because that was a very good move. Now, the question is, okay, what do we do now? US 30, I won't talk about Nas because Nas is not there yet, but US 30, we pay attention to what's happening based off of this movement, kind of like what ended up happening to the downside when the market, yeah, kind of like what ended up happening to the downside when the news ended up came out. I do expect that the market will at least push up to the halfway point. The halfway point on this one, matter of fact, the halfway point has already been hit off of this one. I do expect that we probably might see a little bit of consolidation overall today, but essentially, if the market is bullish, then we are going to see the market really kind of get back up to that 30,440 area before truly being able to have a little bit of resistance for that overall movement. Currently, right now, when it comes down to a high volume node area, we're in the middle of a high volume node or the middle of a peak of price action that is very strong. Once the market ends up breaking above that 30,220 area, or yeah, 30,220 area, then we should see that the market could run from there. But overall, um, I'm happy for the week. Um, the trades today obviously made it a green week overall because I'm probably not going to end up taking a trade unless I truly love what I see tomorrow. Um, and we end up going from there. Hopefully, everybody ended up having a green week when it came down to that as well. Also, remember inside of the Discord, we end up having an area called Showcase. It's also called the Winner Circle. You end up having a win inside of that area. Don't hesitate to be able to place in. Don't hesitate to be able to place in a screenshot, basically talking about your win. It's good to be able to celebrate yourself. It's hard to be able to trade, right? I think everybody understands that trading is hard. So when you do win, you need to be celebrated. So you want to be able to place that stuff in there. If no judgment, no judgment. That's a great vibes position of being able to celebrate with people when it comes down to those movements. Doesn't matter if you won $1, you end up winning $10,000. You want to make sure we end up celebrating everybody when it comes down to that. So I don't have any trades. I don't know what I'm probably going to end up doing tomorrow. I'm probably just going to end up staying away from the market. I will identify everything else, but this will be the last one for the week. Um, hopefully everybody ended up having fun. Hopefully everybody ended up learning something when it came down to that movement. It came down to most trades we end up getting placed in. Uh, going into going into this upcoming week, I think that the market probably might be a little bit slower before really trying to pop. We end up having a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 day consolidation before being able to have this big movement. I like to be able to see that the consolidation can build up over a certain amount of days so you can be able to make those big trades because typically you do see a big pop when the market ends up breaking out. So uh, keep on sticking with the game plan, keep on sticking and moving when it comes down to those overall trades. Like always, make sure that you end up planning your trade and trading your plan. Um, let's see, I happen to be that person that only focuses in on losses. Yeah, I get that. I understand that. If every perfectionist is always going to end up taking a look at a loss and being able to say, "Hey, how am I going to end up being better?" And I think that that's very important to be able to do. But I think more importantly, uh, we all know that there's drawdown. y'all can end up finding drawdown in certain positions, and instead of just being mad about the drawdown and losses from certain positions, sometimes you just got to be um, sometimes you got to be able to celebrate your wins as well. I'll take a look at this one, Steve, for you real quick before we get out of here, and we'll see what's going on. Steve, tell me about this stock. Tell me about what you know about it. Well, I know it's done hit all-time lows. That's one thing. Electric flying cars. Okay. Has everybody just lost faith on this one? Has everybody just lost faith on this one? Hell, this Joker's done been all the way up to 74.33. Done lost. Let's see, the starting amount was at $22 and ended up pushing up from there. Jeez, that's a crazy amount to be able to fall from there, especially for the technology that it's doing. Um, okay, so the first thing that I would like to be able to know is had it hit a Fibonacci, the extension. I don't see this Joker going negative. We're going to say that now. Um, you would hope that it doesn't go under when it comes down to that. But it seems like a lot of people have lost faith in it. Give me a catalyst, Steve. What's on the horizon that would make people want to get into this? I'm just trying to get an idea of. Give me an idea of why I should be interested in being able to jump inside of this stock aside from being able to get great value. Okay, you only have 40 of them. What number did you get in at? I never seen a stock. Well, I think everybody's seen a stock go negative before. That's when they don't. That's when they don't appear anymore. But um, ugh, okay. The weekly and the daily is in the buy zone. Okay, so when it does push, you have an opportunity of being able to see. Uh, I mean, obviously, if it does push up, the first area where it possibly could get back up to is $22, which will be the original price of where it actually ended up starting at. Um, what number did you get in at, Steve? I would be more okay. I'll be more inclined to say that I'll be interested if I start seeing consolidation. Meaning that if I start seeing buyers say, "Hey, this is the lowest price that I want to be able to get it at," we're gonna end up fighting. We're gonna end up fighting it down at the bottom, and then after that, we have a true thing that we can be able to get into and feel comfortable with. Now, that did happen before. That happened right here, and then after that, the market gapped down to the downside. I don't know the reasons why. Um, who you telling? That you know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of oil in right when the pandemic truly started. Because remember, oil ended up going to negative numbers as well. I remember seeing on. I remember seeing somebody that was holding a lot of money for a lot of different traders, a young guy, and he fell asleep on the day that oil actually ended up going through and didn't have a stop loss. And ended up having an account that was, I think it was a seven-figure account, and turned around and ended up being a 600. I think it was like a $600,000 loss, or somewhere around there. It was a six-figure loss overnight because the market ended up going negative and he didn't have a stop loss and everything else ended up happening. I think the guy ended up. I think the guy ended up doing bodily harm to himself because of that, if I remember correctly. That was the last time I seen something end up going negative. But the crazy part about that was that, if I remember right, the crazy part about that was that that same night it ended up going from negative to $32 or $22 a barrel the next day. And then after that popped up, and obviously it is where it is now. I do remember that story. Let's see, got in at 935, 935, 925. Okay. Not a bad price. From a Fibonacci perspective, obviously it has a little bit more ways to go if it could potentially fall down. The one thing that I do like is that we got this strong indecision candlestick that ended up happening right here from a daily perspective, um, which could be one of those things where you could see the market kind of make its movement back up to the upside. But me personally, uh, it's kind of hard to do anything without this market truly breaking a counter trend line break. Mine is always when I'm dropping the kids off. Yes, always. Never, no, not dropping the kids off, picking them up from school. Never fails. Never fails. Never fails. I'm gonna place an alert on this. I keep my eye on it. Let's see. Currently, right now, Steve, obviously because of the price and where it actually is, got great value. Hopefully, people start to agree with you when it comes down to this movement, start to see this thing kind of push up. I would be more excited about it if I start to see more consolidation and more build up when it comes down to that position. We had a 5 day build up. Evidently, people might have thought that the market was ready to be able to move. Obviously, that wasn't the case. Um, but even from an Ikomoku standpoint, I would. This market needs a little bit of time to be able to make a move before being able to do anything off of it. Unfortunately, I just want one of the cars. They look cool. um, once a catalyst ends up moving, then after that we'll see from there. Crypto's moving up to the upside right now. To be honest, that's not surprising. See what's happening with Bitcoin real quick. Then after that, I go ahead and call it a night. Yep, there it is. The the worst part about that is that I got the signal. I got the signal at 13,340, 19,340. And to be honest, if we're being very honest, didn't I talk about it at 19,220? 19,220 was the number that I ended up saying. Hold on. I had 19,220 this morning. Oh, okay. I remember. I remember. My loans are printing. There we go. Okay. I remember what I said. 18,240 was the natural support. I end up saying if the market ends up going to 18,240, I would say I end up saying take a look at it for it being able to get in if it holds to be strong support. I said that the next area where it could potentially end up going to, well, if the market ends up holding off, then we're talking about being able to see the market kind of move up to that. What was the number? 25,000 area. Obviously, if it keeps on doing that, then you got a great push, especially if you end up having any margin off of that, Rich. Uh, I like the move as well. Uh, just got out of a consolidation. Just broke out of this median consolidation area right here. Great move. Great move. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a retest off of that. To get a little bit of a retest off of that, I might end up jumping in with you. Yeah, might end up jumping in with you if we end up saying that. But all right, everybody, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. Uh, it's always fun being able to trade with y'all and trying to be able to go from there. Everybody, great week. I don't think anybody had a real week this week. Hopefully you didn't. Uh, like I said, I don't think that I'm probably going to end up trading um, going into Friday. But if there's something there, then I will go ahead and make the move if I can. Um, but it probably might end up being on the index pairs and everything else like that. You like what I end up doing? Please make sure that you end up clicking on that boost button. Make sure that you end up looking to be able to join our our Discord, the free version, the paid version. Obviously, the paid version has automation systems and indicators and everything else like that that you can be able to get your hands on. Um, but like always, make sure that you end up planning your trade, trading your plan. Everybody, I'm going to place in this. I'm going to place in this overall Discord link if you want to be a part of the. If you want to be a part of the um, premium group that has all the indicators, the books, and everything else like that goes along with that. There it is right there. Like always, everybody, y'all have a great weekend, man. Always good talking to y'all. Take it easy.